If you're new here, 2019, garage needed a lot of work. Insulation, drywall, paint, lights, insulation in the ceiling, paint over that, grind the floor down, epoxy, wall decal, garage insulation, caulking, AC unit, the whole nine. We went over all of it in the previous videos. In today's video, we make a lot of awesome changes to this showroom style garage that we've been building out. One of the most asked questions relentlessly is, how is this PPG product holding up? How is the floor doing? Is it in good condition? Can it withstand working on cars? I'll go over that in detail so you guys know what you can do, what you want to do. We'll dive deep into it. Finally, a bench. I don't have to use plastic tables anymore. That was the worst. They're flimsy, they're hard to work on. You gotta make do with what you got. Sometimes you're on a budget, and I use plastic tables for the last couple years, and I can't believe it's taken this long to get a bench. So that's a huge step in this video. We make it look nice so it matches the garage as well. We get a really big air compressor so we can start doing these custom builds. We run lines, copper lines into the garage, as well as an air hose reel in the corner, totally hidden. That's like 50 foot long. It's like the best thing ever. I've used it so much. We added a extension cord reel in the ceiling, so now if we need power, we don't have to plug an extension cord in the wall. It's just readily available all the time. Another life changer. I can't believe I've gone this long without. Randall moves his big old toolbox in here, so now we have a lot of specialty tools that we need. We got a bandsaw, a grinder, a vise for the end of the bench that's bolted to it, a fridge full of Red Bull. We hang the neon sign, we get our plaque on the wall, we install a bunch of new lights that make it even brighter in here, better for filming, a new toolbox, new laundry basket for our dirty microfiber rags for cleaning. Randall even has his computer in here now, so if we need to look stuff up, we have something readily available. A charging station for our camera stuff and lights, an enclosure for the air compressor outside to protect it from the rain, sun, elements. We want to be able to leave it out there for a few years and be able to pull it out and it looks brand new so that air compressor can hold its value. Upgraded the wall outlets. We added electrical above the bench. We have a place now to mount a TV if we want to. We still have a lot of organization to do, a lot of things to build out to make the ultimate 2-car garage. We have a ton of organization stuff to do at the end of this. We still got a lot of improvements to make, but we cover so much ground of just bare necessities, so I know you guys will take all these ideas and hopefully implement them into something very similar in your garage. Let's get into building with Randall. We're gonna go over one thing at a time from start to finish and just knock it all out. Monday morning, Randall came over. We're discussing this tomorrow, or basically this week. We're gonna settle in and just do all the things to the garage that need to get done. So we're game planning right now. We're gonna go ahead and move everything out of the way right here. And then we are gonna start with, well, Randall's gonna start. I'm gonna try and help as much as I can. Build a L-shaped bench here. We gotta figure out to what length we wanna go that way. And then from there we can build out underneath. You'll see when it all comes together. Other than that, we need a spot to put a grinder, a welder, all those things. So this whole side of the garage is gonna be the spot that gets used all the time. All the tools and all that, everything you need to do, gear, all that. And then on this side, that'll leave us a complete blank open corner to have like a white background in case we need to shoot any like showroom style footage, photos, whatever. So it'll be the ultimate useful, and as far as getting stuff done, and then as far as photos and video, it'll be perfect for what I have going on. So we're gonna get to it. Our biggest things are maybe pulling in water for a sink, and then also we were just talking about how this whole wall, there's no power, but we do have this box right here that we're going to tap into and see if we can run conduit on the outside of the wall or what. And then we want to get our speakers up into the ceiling if we can, and just get everything out of the way that we can. So let's get started. These are the first steps to making your garage better, more productive, cleaner, maybe some tools that you need. These are to give back to you guys. I have 4 new shirts on karmaspeed.com. We've got our blue, white, black, gray. These are different quality, different fit. I have all the information on karmaspeed.com. Karmaspeed's a little baby still, and I wanted to get something little, so it's a $25 gift card to Home Depot, $25 gift card to Lowe's. I'm going to be putting these in 2 orders coming up here in the next few days after this video goes live. So if you want to get your garage started, get a head start with some gift cards to get you going, then check out karmaspeed.com, find all your information there. This brand is created by me. This supports the channel, else. I appreciate you guys' support, and enjoy the rest of the video. Just got home with the toolbox. Thanks to my neighbors, Cy and cousin Justin, and my dad helping me unload this thing. Looks good in here, guys. This is my first actual real toolbox. I'm pretty hyped. Let's start throwing some stuff in there and get rid of that old toolbox out here. In this video, we won't dive into what's inside the toolboxes. We'll save that for next episode that's coming out very soon so we can show you everything we have, because there's some things we still need to buy. It's a big accomplishment to get a toolbox like this. It's nothing crazy, but for me, it's a big step with everything going on, so I'm really happy. I'll definitely get some more upgrades to add into this and keep moving forward on this.
Boards that aren't worked, really. I'm gonna start stacking them.
Randall's confident in what he's doing, but I'm gonna try and learn with you guys. So these are 4 inches wide, 2 inches tall, and then 8 foot in length. So your classic 2x4. We got 20 of these. And then from here, what's next?
Plywood and some hardware.
What are you looking for in your head right now?
Just looking for a little bit of a cheaper press, but it seems like everything's gone freaking crazy price-wise.
Randall's looking at all the plywood. I kind of walked over here to what's called the MDF. Randall was telling me this is what you use in sub boxes. Has a real quiet feel. It's real thick. I'm thinking for the garage, this is going to be the move. I like to just get something nice and do it right. So we need 2 of these. I'm going to set this down.
Just go up and over.
You think I'll regret it?
No.
What we got? Those the same?
1 5/8, yep.
Just between me and you guys, I love doing projects like this with Randall because my brain just shuts off and I turn into helper mode. That's kind of fun. Nice little change of pace. What'd you say?
Just turn down here. You gotta grab.
See, he's telling me what to do. That's what I like to see.
Just grab some lag bolts.
How many?
10 of them.
10 of them. What is that?
Diablo subblades.
7 1/4, 24 teeth. What are these for?
This is what the conduit will be going into conduit goes in here. This other end goes into the J box with the wires running through it.
Right.
This is kind of what makes your connections. 50 feet should be enough.
You'll see this is 14.3, 14.2, 25 feet, 25 feet, 50 feet, 50 feet. Indoor wiring. This is all sold out, so we would normally grab from here, but my dad has some we can take. After looking at everything, we decided we're gonna try the concrete and garage 1-part epoxy. This was an option at one point for the garage floor, which is a no-go. I heard bad things about this, but for a bench, like, we're gonna put a lot of coats on and it's not as big of a deal. We're gonna try this out. And we made sure to get the white base and we don't have to do anything to it. We're just gonna get this because it's super cheap. We got deep base for the black. We've got interior, exterior, flat. Typical paint tray, roller. How wide is this, 12 inches?
12 inches, yeah.
12 inch 2 rollers head. All right, to the checkout we go. How much do you think it's gonna be, Randall? What's your guesses?
Probably like 380.
380? I'm gonna say 449. If it's under 400, we're getting Red Bulls. No, it is not. We're at 330. Randall said 380, I think.
All right, is that everything?
Yeah? Wait, I need 2 more things. Oh, yeah. I didn't even ask if you like Red Bull. Do you like Red Bull?
I like it.
Are you lying to me right now?
It gives me wings. It was worth it. We got.
Hey, so yeah, look at this. I was said 449 and you said 380. It was literally like your price and then tax hit and it was mine. Cheers, brother. Lunch spot, Randall and I's second time to Five Guys. Pretty dang good. Man, they got a big old thing over there. Look at that. Oh my, how many patties are on that thing?
I don't even know. Big burger for a big guy.
You gotta get the Cajun fries here. You get all the Cajun fries, you tear the top of the bag off. And then the worst part of coronavirus is that you have to deal with ketchup packets, not cups of ketchup like normally. So it takes 10 years to get the ketchup out. I'm the opposite of Randall. I get cheese and ketchup on me. I eat like a 12-year-old. But this is how you set up them fries right here. Whipped out the mini truck. Headed back to Home Depot. We spaced on getting 2 10-foot 2x4s. So I'm gonna go grab those for Randall while he's working. And we can get started, or Randall can get started on the base. I'm not gonna act like I know how to do any of this. I've done it, but I've not built this exact style. I really want to SR20 swap this truck. I gotta find a motor, ask Randall if he's up for it, and somehow figure out how to get it done. Because this truck holds a lot of memories and nostalgia for me and my buddy Ben, and some of our other friends. We'll dive into that on if we end up building this truck, on the history of it and whatnot, because it's quite interesting. Back here, your boy doesn't know what he's doing. 2x4x16. This is 96? 96 is 8 feet. I think I found it. It's totally unmarked. I'm gonna guess this is 10 feet though. Haven't even made it out of the parking lot. Already gotta get some more stuff. We need some electrical butt connectors. Butt splice heat shrink 16 to 14 AUG 7-pack. Need these. Got them. Randall, how do you attack a situation like this?
So what we're trying to accomplish is 2 45-degree cuts to make this flat piece, if I'm not mistaken. But I have to get out my little angle gauge to, 90-degree corner. I believe that is what we're going to be cutting here to make this piece fit in. So we got a flat front face of this corner.
In the description, there's a link to an Amazon list that I made for you guys. It has all the tools we used throughout this entire video. I know you'll find it super helpful, and you can start building out your garage and have all the tools you need to build anything that you need. Not all of the 2x4s are drilled together yet. We're mocking it up, and then we'll do 16 on center points and start drilling those 2x4s in. The biggest issue with the current light setup is the waviness in the time lapses. It's the hertz for those lights. It doesn't work very well. I've changed all the settings on the camera. It doesn't work. So when we add these new lights, we should get rid of most of that, and it's going to look much, much better. Let's appreciate Randall's tape job to reality. Look at this.
It's pretty good.
All workbench dimensions are posted in the description below. The holes were pretty deep from the screws, so we ended up using caulking inside the holes and then wood filler right at the end. That way it's still sandable. You can't sand caulking, so we had to do wood filler on the end, sand that down, and then prep it for paint. In the list below, there is a paint gun, just like the one Randall's using right now. These things are awesome. Highly recommend. That thing is legit. It looks so much better than like anything else.
Covers ground real quick.
What do you think?
It's pretty good.
Looks like a table to me. A lot of tension.
Sure.
What kind of bolts you got there?
Black bolts, and not sure what kind of quality they are, but just your Home Depot special, ABB.
The right wheel on the grinder we actually replaced with a wire wheel from Amazon. I also have that in the list below. Let's talk about the garage floor. Everyone wants to know, how is a white floor holding up in a car garage, like where you plan on working on stuff? Randall's been going absolutely ham, grinder, metals, big tools, and I'm impressed how it's holding up. There are a couple things I'm bummed about. Let's dive into it. Worst thing that happens that I wasn't thinking about when I put this down is that when you drop stuff, it's just a nick in it, and it's kind of a bummer, but I don't really care because it's only the high traffic areas right here, which I'm going to show you up close what this stuff looks like. So let me just preface, this has been awesome even for like doing a lot of jobs in here. I've spilled oil and left it for like 3 days and it doesn't seep into the floor at all. How I clean it is I usually clean up the mess the best I can, and then I get a mop. I use some degreaser in the water, fill it up with water, and then mop the whole thing, and it's really spotless every time. It is showing signs of wear over time, but it still looks great overall, and I don't see it looking bad anytime soon. Everyone that comes over is like, dude, like the floor, like this is sick, like I love it. I'm like, I know, isn't it like the best thing ever? So for a budget product, a PPG product, and doing it ourselves, it came out well. It's holding up well, but I'm gonna show you how you can avoid the like kind of downfalls that I'm kind of bummed about and the reality of it. The worst part is this seam crack concrete filler that I've never applied or anything like that in my life, but the previous person that was in this garage put it in here, and then I just epoxied over it. knowing that it probably won't stick perfectly because it's not meant for that, because it's like rubbery. And what this even looks bad from is not what you would think. It's not from tires, it's not from normal wear. It's actually from this guy right here. The creeper caster wheels, or wheels, rolls in here, and when you have weight on it, it crunches and then breaks it up into pieces and it starts to flake off. So it's kind of a bummer, but I am impressed. It's not really flaking past right there. I don't foresee it being a problem, but this is just my problem because I have an old garage with a bunch of old material in between the concrete. I wasn't going to pick that out, so it is going to look bad over time, but it's only in this high traffic area where we're rolling the creeper around on the ground underneath cars. Cars really only roll on these two squares right here. Everywhere else doesn't really get damaged. I do some dirt bike stuff over there, but it holds up really well. And I'm seriously shocked how it does not absorb any oil, coolant, any of that. I've left it for days. I wipe it up. It's like it was never there. The thing that bums me out the most, though, that's like totally our fault, but it's the reality and I'm not going to stop what we're doing, is there's nicks everywhere in this high traffic area. Nick, 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 nick. Nick in the ground, bigger nick, nick, nick. Nick. Dropping sockets, wrenches, ratchets, impact guns, metal things falling. When it hits, it leaves a nick in the floor, but it actually, none of the spots have started to like flake up like in the crack area. So overall, like, this stuff is really impressive for what I paid for it. Much better than like anything you're gonna buy from Home Depot, like by far. This is like a 5-10 footer too. Like when you step back, you don't see the nicks, you don't see the crack issue too much. It is kind of getting bad in that area right there. Maybe I'll tape it off and do some spray paint, like just to keep it looking fresh. So this area isn't even spotless and it still looks good. I definitely need to take a mop to it one more time, as well as over here. And this area just kind of stays dirty. We don't spend too much time. Some of the really bad spots, I've poured gasoline and a magic white eraser that actually works, like gets anything off, and it looks all brand new. Anytime you drag the jack across the floor, it'll sometimes leave black lines, but those usually come up with a rag, if not just the mop. You get tire tracks in and out every time you drive cars usually, so the mop usually gets that. I mop it about, me and Randall probably mop it at the end of most days because we're both super OCD. If we didn't mop it, then it would just be tire tracks and it wouldn't be a big deal. Hope that answers all your guys' questions on the floor. I know how important it is to a lot of you guys. I stand behind it for the price. I stand behind doing it yourself. As long as you have a big respirator, don't breathe the air when you mix the part A and part B. Hold your breath when you do that. It's gonna be toxic, it's kind of nasty, but it's been a game changer. Whenever I see a video where I have the garage walls done and the floor was the old gray, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, I should have done this white floor like a long time ago. It changes the energy in here when we sit around and hang out and talk and have a couple waters, Red Bulls and stuff, and just catch up with some of my friends. It's a much better atmosphere just from the floor. So it's been like probably the best thing I've done in here. One really important thing to me also is that this wall and this corner always stays clear. Nothing on the wall, nothing like to utilize it, because even though we're in the middle of some huge projects right now and have no place to put some boxes, we can move these at any point. If I need like an infinity wall for like the showroom style photos, I can pull a car in here diagonal, I can pull a car in here straight, I can shoot any sort of huge product photo style video or photo at any moment. So that's something to keep in mind that I'm thinking about, that I can pass on to you guys, that it took a lot within me to like fill all this up, and I think it works perfect, but I have to have that one spot that's like an infinity spot to shoot like an entire car, because that's super duper important to me, and maybe that's something that's important to you. Randall, what are your thoughts on this floor? The floor coating. Everyone wants to know, everyone's curious, should they do it? What is your thoughts on having a white floor, one, and two, being an outsider durability wise? How it cleans up, it's been dirty, you've seen it dirty, you've seen it clean. What is your thoughts?
I'm actually really surprised as to how this stuff holds up. I mean, I painted my garage floor with the Home Depot stuff. I probably didn't prep the floor the right way that they call for, but I mean, this stuff right here is durable. I mean, you can drive on it, drag the jack across it. I mean, I drug the jack across mine. I let it dry for like 3 or 4 days, and within a matter of like a couple months, it started chipping up. But then again, like I said, I didn't go through the whole steps of like sanding the concrete down and getting it all prepared. But this stuff is super durable and well worth the money.
Would you use this stuff?
Definitely. I would definitely use this.
Would you do white?
I would do white. I'm a big fan of the black on white look is huge.
Are you just saying that though because I'm here?
Nope.
You sure?
Not positive.
These are the Hyperlight LED high bay lights. They're insanely bright, made for a little bit higher of a ceiling, but with our current lighting setup, these actually added exactly what we were needing. We had some rolling shutter issues with the previous lights and time lapses, as well as just the whole thing just looking kind of dim. These set the place off, really added that brightness that we needed. They hurt your eyes to look at, they're so bright. We questioned it at first if they were too bright because they're really distracting, but once we got used to them, we stopped looking at them because they're just a new thing, and we really just started using the place. They really filled in all the spots that we needed. We don't have any shadows from the rafters like you think we would, surprisingly, so we're super pumped on these. I don't use any of my light stands anymore on the ground that often unless we got to get something up close, so I'm really happy with these, and every garage needs these. If you would like to order these lights, I have a link in the description to Hyperlight's website. You guys can go check out all their products, including these.
So the mounting zip ties make cable management a lot easier, because if you see here, there's a little eyelet hole where you can actually put a screw in and bolt it or screw it into whatever. For instance, here into the side of the 2x4s. So you just zip tie this as you regular zip tie, cut off the tag end, and then you just want to make sure that this eyelet end is faced up to what you're going to be just screwing it into, and it makes mounting the wires a lot easier and a lot cleaner. That's kind of how I've done with these new lights that we put in here. I did go real crazy with zip ties, as you can kind of see here. The way the application that we were dealing with here is having only 2 plugs with a bunch of lights that we added made it to where we had to use these splitters. Basically max out these plugs as much as possible.
What's the situation? You need to update us. What's going on?
We are getting ready to run the wires here to the compressor
So
once I can find the box of screws.
Randall's losing his mind today. Poor guy. We're both feeling a little funk, but Randall is crushing today. We've got the conduit off the junction box we had from the AC. This goes down. This is going to be ran into the compressor. And from here, he's got a little bit more wiring to do. let me take you for a look inside. So temporarily, this is how we have the airline ran. Just for now, we're gonna have some drapes that go down here, kind of like Napa. But we have our line in here for now. The thing is, we're gonna leave this temporary because this is gonna be a door hopefully one day. So this is just a quick fix to the situation.
Makeshift ring terminal. Can't wait to get flamed in the comments from my professional wiring skills here.
According to the comments, this whole building's supposed to catch on fire. It hasn't yet.
It's not permanent. This is just a test fire run. We got to get the proper apparatus to mount onto here to run the wires the rest of the way through. Now I can build up the pressure while we get a fitting on this. air compressor enclosure that I constructed. Concrete's not very level, so this door doesn't open up all the way, but it opens up just enough if we need to get to anything in here. This enclosure, I built this to protect the compressor from the outside elements as much as possible, the rain especially, and to keep the motor protected. I coated the wood on the exterior here with this stuff right here, actually. Thompson water seal. It protects, it's like a waterproof base that any water that hits onto it, it beads off to keep the wood from warping. And then on the roof here, I did a coat of the, I believe it's called Henry's roof coating. So that keeps the rain from soaking into the wood as well. I did put it at a little bit of a pitch too, just so any water does run off. And then we have some vents here. Keep the air flowing in here as much as possible to keep the motor keep the motor cool, because it does produce quite a bit of heat. Right back here, I left this open just because, I mean, with these vents here, it'll kind of create a circulation of air to keep everything cool. And then from the wiring standpoint, the existing air conditioner for the garage ran off of 220. So I went ahead and tapped off of this conduit or junction box right here and ran some conduit alongside the wall there, coming on down into the enclosure, which then runs down on that back side of the wall and goes into another junction box. From this junction box, we got some flexible conduit, which then goes into this junction box where those wires meet and go to the whip that actually goes and powers the actual controller on the compressor. This inside part here is where I housed the air lines. Coming off the compressor here, we have this 3/8 inch hose, which then leads into the copper pipe here that I soldered, which runs alongside the back part of this wall onto over here. Excuse my solder joints, I'm no professional, but I will say over the last 3 weeks or so that we've had this, it hasn't leaked. So then we got it tapped off of here, going to this hose reel, 50 foot I believe is how long this is. Looking up in the center of the garage, we now have an extension cord reel, which you can see here. We're not 100% sure if this is gonna stay here or not due to the placement, but as of right now, it has not gotten in the way. So far it's doing well, but that could change here as projects progress.
What do you think about them things?
Looks good, I think. It completes the look of the added on shed here, and once you look at it from afar, it looks perfect.
How do you install these?
And so these just real thick. It's actually really not even that thick, just a rubber flimsy material. On the back side here, probably should have put some big like fender washers up there up top where I screwed it in, but I mean, we're not gonna be yanking on it. I mean, obviously if you yank on it, it's gonna rip off, but for just this little car wash application that we got going on here is plenty good.
We get a ton of leaves in the garage from the neighbor next door. It's the worst. But now at least with the air, we can just blow it out instead of having to sweep it up so much for like the in-between times of the day. Another thing that's a big deal is we can pull a car up in here now and blow all the water out of the pockets of the car, the mirrors and all that. Just like a professional car wash, we have air to just blow it all out. We can take that 50-foot line all the way out into the carport, use it as well there, so super duper useful.
We got a pressure washer that's out there in the carport. Being able to just pull the cord down, bring it on out to what you need to use it for, whether that's the pressure washer, grinder, I mean, you name it. Makes it real easy to just be able to pull the cord, and then when you're done, pull it right back to eliminate having to wind up cords and whatnot. With filming here in the garage, we do need lights in random places, so we only have a couple wall outlets and the cord on the light's only so long, so we just hook it up to this cord here and it makes it a lot more convenient. If you want to build a bench like this in your garage, I built this one out of 2x4s and MDF. You can use plywood. However, we chose the direction of going with MDF just because it's a lot more of a subtle appearance, which we liked. If you don't know what MDF is, it's what they use to build subwoofer boxes. It's a kind of a fiber type of board for the tabletop itself. We went ahead and put a 1-part epoxy from Home Depot on the bench top here. And then we went over it with a epoxy hardener coating, which we're not really too happy about. So we're gonna figure that out here in a few weeks to see what route we wanna go with on that. But so far it's holding up, but we haven't really done any serious working on it yet to actually test the durability of it. Over here, we picked up a vise. This one right here is from Home Depot. They had a similar one at Harbor Freight. However, it was hideous looking blue, which we won't talk about that. However, this one right here did seem like the best deal. It's real sturdy and it's secured to the bench, so the bench is gonna break before this vise comes off of here. Another thing we like to use the tabletop for is the bandsaw. We are gonna be getting into a bunch of custom work here in the next few upcoming videos, so this is gonna make life a lot easier when we have to cut out custom little metal brackets, or I mean, you name it, it makes your life a lot easier. That's one thing we've used the bench for this far. However, I mean, it's gonna serve us well with a lot of different uses. I went ahead and added these outlets. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This existing outlet on over there is kind of covered up by the computer, which this was the original outlet, and I went ahead and topped off of this and ran conduit down and then added a few along the way. This one up here is, I put that up there because we did plan on maybe possibly putting a TV or something in this corner, and I'm a big fan of hiding wires whenever you can, so if you have an outlet up there, you just tuck your wires and make everything look really clean. Right up over here, I added the Velcro, industrial Velcro, just to keep the remotes at a set location just so they don't get lost. So whenever I'm in here working, instead of leaving it up there, I'm always coming and going from my box, so I'll usually put it here just to adjust the volume and whatnot. We do have 2 locations for it, so it makes that a little easier. I got this grinder over here at the end. There are 2 spots on here to bolt it to the table. However, this thing's pretty heavy to where it's not going anywhere. It's also got rubber feet on it, which help grip to the table itself. Since I've been working over here just about every day, I went ahead and moved my Harbor Freight toolbox from my house. Don't be fooled by the badge. So this is kind of how I had it set up over at my house. I like to keep stuff as neat and organized as possible. I'm always coming and going. I like to have my computer screen here for if I'm using ProDemand or looking up diagrams.
What's ProDemand?
Easy terms, it's a mechanic technical bulletin basically. I mean, you can search anything and everything on there about cars, whether it's from diagnostics to wiring diagrams to trouble codes, you name it.
Mechanic's best friend.
Basically a mechanic's best friend. This is a real simple charging station that I made up out of plywood and a piece of 2x3, I guess is what that is. We got the GoPros here. We use this every day. I got a little three bank charging station for the GoPro batteries themselves. Just hang out right in there, and that's also mounted in here with this industrial Velcro. And I got the cords mounted. It's kind of organized chaos, which I'm a big fan of. Just little odds and ends for the GoPro, and my pens and you name it, just kind of go up there. My PC's tucked behind the hanging out in the windowsill over here.
What are these?
We won't talk about those. That's how I keep this body in shape. It's driving us nuts just as much as it is you to have this bright blue toolbox in here. Unfortunately, when I went to buy it, they didn't have white, which was my original plan, because I have a similar cart to this, actually the exact one at my house, and I wanted to match it, but blue was my next best option, and I didn't even have black in stock, so that's what I went with. But we are working to get this whole abstract art figured out and get it to match the rest of the color scheme in the garage.
My turn. I've got a big mess of detail supplies that'll be covered in the next video. We're gonna organize that, build something out a little bit better. I've got a tool cart here. I've got my new toolbox here that you guys saw earlier. Inside here we've got some not much stuff like specialty tools down here, octane booster hidden from no one else, random other tools, but we'll dive into what's in our toolboxes, both me and Randall, in the next garage video, as well as getting a lift, so that's going to be huge. Over here we have all the parts for the next build that you guys are going to see in the relatively near future. Oh, and then one thing we didn't cover over here is the most important part. We've got our fridge now. I picked this up. This is an Insignia fridge from Best Buy. We've got it loaded with Red Bull. Randall likes a random cheese stick when he's in a grumpy mood. And then we got green tea, Gatorade, water, kind of everything we need to function, and kind of in the phase we're in right now for drinking and eating. Looking up towards the lights, I don't even want to look at them. They're so bright. They're Hyperlight LEDs. They're super awesome. They're actually made for a much higher ceiling, although Randall and I did put them in, and for video reasons, they're awesome. They're a little bit bright to the eye, but if you want a really bright spot and to bring out the best in this situation, these have been really awesome. We installed 2 here and 2 over there, and then 1 above the bench, and it's working out so far. At first we were a little bit scared, but now that we've gotten used to it. Randall, what do you think? It's not too bright. I mean, we got used to it.
Yeah, I definitely got used to it. It was pretty overwhelming at first,
yeah,
but it definitely...
Every person that comes in here is like, holy crap, it is so bright in here. But for filming and everything else like that, it keeps the quality high. As lighting is the most important part of filming and keeping the quality high in your videos, guys, that's huge. A lot of your guys' garages are super dark. You want to get LEDs, I have a link in the description to these, as well as many other options on their website. So make sure you guys check out the Hyperlight stuff. They have a lot of awesome stuff. It's super simple, bright, to the point, and you just get it done. And I think you guys will find a really quick solution, and it's not going to break the bank too bad, and you get a lot of bang for your buck. So lighting is huge. It's as much as you put in work into everything else, if there's not enough light to figure it out and just show everything off, then it's kind of pointless. So get that lighting figured out. It makes a big difference. It's the first comment people usually make when they walk in this garage. Randall put in these new flat plugs. We had the old school ones that had kind of like a round look to them. It was just ugly, so Randall's got this dialed so it blends into the wall just a little bit better. It still kind of stands out. I kind of wish these weren't here, but we use them enough to where it's kind of necessary. If you guys are questioning if this is your first time here, we do have AC in this garage. It has been one of the most life-changing things, especially during the summer here in Arizona. We can close everything up. We've got the insulation in the garage door, and then we have the Mr. Cool AC unit. There's a bunch of different options I have linked in the description to Amazon as well. Those links help the channel and support a little bit as well, so you're not only getting yourself a cool AC unit, you're also supporting the channel a little bit with any of those links down in the description. This thing's awesome. Hot, heat, cold, I've used both. I've used the heater actually a lot during the winter. Like cold nights, I'm out here till like midnight, 1 in the morning, and I can get it to like 75 degrees in here if I'm feeling freezing. Any temperature during the summer, it's awesome. So if you guys are new here, just know that that's there. Go check out the other garage videos to see the install on this AC unit. It wasn't too bad. It's a DIY kit and anyone can do it. Above the bench over here, we have our vinyl rack. So this is left over from the Mustang and the material we had left. You can just pull this down, cut your sheet for your panel, and then move forward. It keeps mess off the ground, and vinyl, you don't want to get anything on it, dirt, so just having something mounted on the wall is super duper helpful. That is also DIY. I made a video on that. I'll leave in the description to where that's useful. And then we have the 100K plaque. That's really meaningful to me. I wanted to have it here because that's kind of where all this went down, and I appreciate all of you guys, and I want you guys to be able to see it as well. The Karma neon sign, this was fully custom made here in Phoenix and Mesa specifically, by a super cool company. And my girlfriend gave this to me as a present, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So we got it up here. We wanted you to be able to see it. This is just kind of the spot we're gonna hang any memorabilia moving forward, probably. Moving on to the next installment of this series of our garage making it better, we have a lift, and then also underneath the bench we're going to work on building out organization. We're going to work on our detail supplies. We're going to work on the shed part of that, organizing it as well. Probably some more specialty tools, maybe some additions to the benches and the walls. I want to do tint on the windows. That'll be cool. And we'll go through our toolboxes and specialty tools and give you a bunch of good ideas of things you can add to your garage. If you enjoyed this video and you want to support what we have going on and build more confidence in the garage and learn everything you can about sports cars, the best way to show support is karmaspeed.com or follow karmaspeed on Instagram. You can get some cool gear and support the channel in the highest possible way, and I know you guys will really appreciate it. I put a lot of time and effort into the quality of the Karmaspeed products. This is a new shirt that I just came out with. There's 4 colorways. This is like a standard uniform situation. They're really high quality shirts. They'll last a long time, and a lot of you guys have said these are your favorite fitting shirts. So these are a little higher end. They're going to be a little bit more expensive, but that's just an idea of what you'll see on the Karmaspeed website as well as the Instagram account. I highly encourage you to follow us on Instagram because you can see when new products come out. Hit that like button so more people can see this video. That way more and more people can make their garages even better. Comment any ideas that you have for this garage that maybe are some things that you have in your garage that you can't live without, that you know we don't have. Let's add it to here. Let's bring everyone's knowledge together and see what we can do. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you.